Everyone, I just want to do a quick video for my settings in Hunt Showdown 1896. I will say, I have a full-time job and 4 kids, so this is not something I've gone in and tested every single setting to see, the FPS and how everything looks. Kind of just been messing around with it since the new update. Found things on Steam or Reddit and tried those out to see if they help me as well. So I will have links down in the description as well, along with my specs down there, so you can kind of compare it to what you have. Well, we will jump into it here. And this always resets. All right, so region, obviously that's yours. Crosshair, I like centered now that they have the option. Personal preference, like always. For me personally, 95 field of view is what I use. Basically, it's what I've used since I've kind of started jumping, or when I started on PC, and I just keep it the same for all my games. Lowered state of view, default. Shoulder aim, default. I don't like this one on the zoom, it just is weird to me. Keep lowered state. This is one, could be personal preference as well. I don't like it. If you hold the Q button, it will lower the weapon for you. So if you are in a compound and you're like close to one of the outside walls, you may want to do that so your rifle's not sticking through and then they know where to wall bang you easy. Obviously, I'm not playing on inverted and I keep hints off. For this, again, a lot of personal preference. I don't know about you guys, but on the new update, the chat box, it'll pop up, but I usually don't see much in it. It's almost like it's non-existent, so I can see that someone's typing something, but I don't really see too much. Except for my own team, I'll see sometimes. I do like keeping some of these pretty translucent, like the compass. Crosshair, I like to see that a little better. With my equipment, stamina, the objectives, indicators, all that stuff, I have them lower so I can see them, but because of the atmosphere in Hunt, I don't like seeing the HUD all over my screen. Again, personal preference, maybe you do like that, or if you're newer and you can't remember, what stuff you brought with you, which I still forget anyways and do the wrong thing. It might be beneficial for you to have those a little more opaque so you can actually see what you have. For the rest of the display, ammo's the only one I don't hide because I like knowing what I have ammo-wise the whole time, but the rest, I just let them, it'll pop up and then it'll auto-hide them after a few seconds. Let's see, player names I have on. This is another big one, so the highlight interactable objects. I have exclude doors and windows. You can have all, so like everything that you can interact in the world will have that little highlight around it, or none and you'll have nothing. And I believe if you have none, you won't even see your teammates, but I may be wrong in that, so you can correct me down in the comments below. But I like exclude doors and windows, so stuff like first aid kits and stuff will still pop and be easier to see. But doors and windows won't, because a lot of times there are slight cracks where you can see stuff through them, and that little outline will kind of, it'll mess up or obscure your view of maybe seeing someone running behind it. Audio, obviously we want to be able to hear everything, so I have master at 100, music in the menu. I like it a little bit, but I don't want to get drowned out when I'm in it, so I keep that down. Sound effects, obviously 100, UI, whatever you want to do with it. Dialogue, there's not much in Hunt anyways, maybe in the training mode, so the subtitles in this, it's kind of not really a big deal. Ambiance, obviously personal preference as well. I'm guessing most of you are playing on headphones, so make sure you're on that. I do have the Cryspatial setting on. I've kind of done on and off. To me, it feels better with it on. I'm not noticing a huge difference, but it does seem like I can kind of locate people a little better, even though sounds right now do seem a little weird. Obviously, you want to make sure you have your correct output and input devices selected. We'll get to the key bindings in a little bit. Voice chat mode. Push to talk, everyone. You're on PC, it's pretty easy to do. That way no one wants to hear you smacking on chips or you and your wife fighting in the background. Mute voice on death. This one I have off, but if you don't want to hear people running their mouths after they kill you, no one has anything to say until you're dead, then they want to say a bunch of stuff. You can turn it on and you won't hear any of that. Then play sound in the background, that's another one. For me personally, when I'm actually playing, I'm usually not tabbing out. If I am, I'm not like waiting for a game to load up. I just don't do that a lot. But if you are, maybe you're watching a YouTube video or something while you're waiting for load, you can have this on and you can still hear that sound when you load into a match. Graphics. So obviously the resolution, you want to pick whatever your native resolution is. Full screen, V-Sync off. I have my max FPS locked at 144. That's what my monitor is. You can go higher, 180, 200. should be able to unlock it. There you go. You know, 9,000 basically unlocked. I like keeping it at 144 because when I'm in the menu, I don't need 400 FPS and my graphics card, you know, running super hot or anything. Plus, I don't like to hear it. Depth of field off, motion blur off. My gamma, I just have it up a little bit to help brighten up some of those dark areas, but not oversaturate it. HDR, I don't have an HDR capable monitor, so I don't have any advice on this one. So here's one. Typically I would have this set to 90, but with the newest update and some of the memory loss issues from the RAM, I ended up setting mine to 70, and it seems it will help me. So this could be one, you know, we have to come back to here in the future as Cryotech kind of updates and fixes some stuff. DLSS on quality mode for the actual settings. Object quality I have high, texture quality high. These are two you can drop down to gain some frames. Filtering 16 times. Lighting I have high. Global illumination. This is another one I've kind of played around with. I would recommend at least medium because it seems like it brightens up some of those dark areas from that low to medium. I've got to play with it around more myself to see how much more I get like at ultra from high and how much like frames I lose over that. But right now what I've been playing on, the stuff you see, it's on high. Shadow quality low, shadow filtering low, effect quality low, post-processing and particle quality I both have medium. Particle quality is probably another one if you're trying to squeeze out a few extra frames, you can drop down the low. But with mine, I like having the high frames, but I also want the game to look a little better than, you know, complete ass. Water quality low, looks amazing as it is. Fog quality low, it's fog, who cares. View distance ratio, basically how stuff renders over distance. This can't help with seeing hundreds in the distance. Like if I have this on ultra, everything might be rendered in. It's also going to, I believe, affect your frame, so I usually keep it at low. It helps for seeing people from far away, and I don't need to see a bush or a light, so these two, the same thing, both low. Performance stance, personal preference, I just have it on basic. GPU tessellation I have off. Being 100% honest, I don't know 100% what this does, and it just seemed like for me when it was on, you know, I was getting like some weird stutters and stuff, so I have that off right now. I prefer Gunslinger. Some of you might like the old school hunter way. You know, again, personal preference. Hold the sprint, toggle crouch, map, aim down sights, hold, all that stuff. Auto move, I don't personally do it because I don't care. If you may like it, so that's an option for you. Auto interact is one I would definitely recommend putting on, especially if you're using stuff like the bows, crossbows, hand crossbow, you know, with the spears out there and stuff that are all over the place. Anytime I throw a spear or use my bow, those arrows are going to be on the ground. If I just hold my interact button and run over those, it'll automatically pick that stuff up. Same with ammo boxes, stuff like that. That can get you in trouble when we get the key bindings. That's why I separate a few different things. Aim is going to be personal preference, so that's just going to be stuff you got to kind of figure out on your own. As you see, you can do every different scope. Probably have to find it, and I can link it in the description, but there is like a Google Doc spreadsheet out there that someone did where you can put in your shoulder aim here, and it'll basically spit out and tell you what the other value should be. That way it's always the same no matter how you're aiming. But really with aim, it's whatever feels comfortable to you. You know, I don't play on controllers, so I'm going to skip all this. Play controls, I just leave it where it was on the default. Now we'll check out the key bindings. Again, personal preference, but there are some things you can do to help avoid weird situations. Obviously default, default, default. This is the first one, the jump vault. I do recommend, and I'm sure most people that you've seen recommend separating these. So if I want to jump, I don't vault on something, or if I want to vault, I'm not just jumping and missing. So I do have those separate. Again, personal preference, these are just what I have for me, space and F. Crouch, obviously, aim down sights, those aren't separate. With your consumables and primary weapons, again, personal preference, whatever is good for you. If you have buttons on your mouse, I pretty much keep all of them the same. I have my first consumable on V because that's where I usually either put my vitality shot or my regeneration shot. So I always know if I hit that, I'm going to go for that immediately. You can switch weapons quickly with Q if you didn't know that. Weapon mode, I'm assuming most people know X, so you can switch either the aperture on or off on those guns, or you can switch your ammo types. I have Gunslinger, like I said. I changed some of my rounds, so I do have my melee attack on my mouse. Here's the other big one that I've changed, and I didn't do it for a while. Probably about 100 hours ago I actually switched this, and it seemed to have helped, is interact in your bandage and stop burning. So I personally like interact as E because it's just what I've had, you know, for years and years, so I always do that in every game. But I did change the bandage and stop burning to its own separate button. That way, like if I'm burning, especially if I'm in a compound fighting, and I start holding E and I run across a door or a med kit or something, because I have that auto interact, it'll start picking that up instead of stopping the bleeding or stopping the burning, and then next thing you know, I keel over and die anyways like a goofball. Again, personal preference, I like having my dark side on the mouse. That's just me personally. Voice chat, so I do have it set to the brackets here. One thing for me that I got is a foot pedal, so I don't know if a lot of you have those out there or not. Just got 2 little foot pedals on it, and I use it for my Discord and then my in-game chat. So I just set those buttons to these brackets because I don't use that for anything else ever, and it's a nice easy way. Now that I'm used to it, I mean, it's like second nature. I just hit it with the foot. I'm not moving anything on my hands. You know, if it's, some people like them on their mouse, but I feel like when I was doing that, it was messing up my aim, and my aim's bad enough already. Now we'll go over a couple PC settings. I'm not going to get super in depth, but just a few things you can do to help, you know, get you a little more FPS and stuff like that. So first one, if you go down here and you type in graphics, you get your graphics settings. What you can do is go to this list and you want to search for a hunt. Now mine's already on here, so you'll see hunt game. And you go to options and set that to high performance. That way when you're playing that, your computer knows to put all those resources towards that GPU while you're playing on Showdown. Another one would be, open up this over here, and I will drag this over, and I will put this in the description as well. So go to PC, you want to go to your local disk, program files, you want to find Steam, Steam apps, common, hunt Showdown, users, I can click it there, shaders, and cache here. So I actually did mine this morning, as you could see, 920. And there was another folder in here. It was D3, I think D11 for DirectX 11. So I found a post where it said some people were having frame drops and stuttering issues. I just deleted the whole folder because next time you run the game, it'll redo it for you. And that seemed to fix it for some people. So that's another option out there as well for you. All right, those are my settings that I use for Hunt Showdown 1896. Let me know down in the comments below, are you having issues with the new update? Is there something that you did that helped you? So if so, throw it in there. Maybe you'll be able to help someone else out. Yeah, anyone that's still having issues, also throw that down in the comments. Maybe somebody out there has a fix for you. You know, we can help each other out, because as we know with PCs, gotta love them, but gotta hate them at the same time. It's that gift and a curse. What might work for me is not gonna work for someone else. So if you like this video, you know, please consider giving it a like and subscribe. Give your feedback down below. Everyone have a good day and have fun out there.